This summer, over 100 American and British service members have been volunteering their time to try to solve a forensics mystery dating back to World War II, searching for the remains of a U.S. Air Force pilot who crashed in a quiet corner of England, taking off for a bombing mission over Nazi Europe on August 4th, 1944. Ahead of the 80th anniversary of that crash, Rami Inocencio went to meet the volunteers working to make sure no man is left behind.
The hopeful beep of metal detectors breaks the silence as American and British soldiers side by side sift through soil in this gaping impact crater from World War II. 80 years on from the day a U.S. B-17 bomber slammed into the ground here by the Suffolk coast of eastern England, the pilot's remains might finally be found.
Just keeps growing with every bucket.
U.S. Air Specialist Garrett Browning from Colorado is stationed here in England.
And any of the bigger pieces will stay behind, and then we will inspect those to see whether they're rocks, wood, or metal.
Or possibly tiny bone fragments of U.S. Air Force Lieutenant John Fisher from New York, just 21 years old. He was part of a top-secret program codenamed Operation Aphrodite, an experiment using planes on one-way missions to destroy Nazi targets in Europe. Pilots were meant to parachute out after another plane took over by radio control. Those aircraft were old, war-weary B-17 Flying Fortress bombers, first stripped down for more space, then loaded with tons of explosives. But Fisher's plane stalled soon after takeoff. He pushed his co-pilot out and sacrificed himself.
This aircraft, it blew apart pretty much in every direction. And so something as small as just a bolt or a thread, it just kind of tells a story.
It's a respectful, almost reverential and time-consuming process.
These volunteers have unearthed more than 3,000 fragments from that B-17 Flying Fortress, notably this horseshoe for luck and this nameplate that clearly says Detroit General Motors Corporation.
Each metal, rubber, and fabric fragment a clue to where more of Fisher's remains might be found.
I know that there's a big piece of plane under here.
Rosanna Price is head of engagement at England's Cotswold Archaeology.
There's more of it.
Overseeing the cleaning, sorting, and cataloging of every piece volunteers unearth.
Okay, this is some of the largest pieces we've found. This is the hub.
Oh my God, wow.
And this is a piece of the propeller still attached.
There is excitement with every new find, she says. And there are daily flybys of people wishing them well and paying respect to Lieutenant Fisher. Any possible remains found here will be flown on a U.S. Air Force plane to the Defense Prisoner of War Missing in Action Accounting Agency Lab, where tests are run to confirm if remains are human, then if there's a DNA match to any family. If so, a full military burial is ordered.
This really is the manifestation of no man left behind.
And a mark of America's and Britain's enduring special relationship since World War II.
You talk to local people even today, in their 80s, 90s, they remember the Americans coming, they still remember the excitement, how they watched those planes go out every morning and they counted them back in the evening and they were as bereft as anybody else when planes didn't come back. And they were really grateful for the Americans coming over, and you still feel that when you talk to people now.
So the work carries on under this quiet canopy of trees to bring one more American serviceman home. For CBS Saturday Morning, Rami Inocencio on England's Suffolk coast.
It would be really easy for some people to forget. It's amazing to see the effort they're putting into.
Absolutely.
That people don't, and that they're not.
And the idea that people would count the planes leaving,
Yeah.
and then the grief of those missing in action, not returning.
Great story, Rami.
Oh, yeah.